Alrighty. Shows that we're rolling, so let's get rolling. I learned that the reason that all my videos look weird is because I am holding the phone um up and down instead of side to side. So hopefully this should fix how my videos upload to YouTube. Um I don't know why I never caught that, but someone that I know in real life watched one of my videos and they're like, dude, why are all your videos always so weird? And they're like, which way do you hold the camera? And I'm like, I never thought that would affect the video. So I'm sorry about that. I think I finally learned my lesson by holding it like this instead. Don't mind the nasty uh, garage with everything kind of clustered everywhere. And yes, for the people that were paying fine detail attention, that is a rolling tray. And yes, I live in Ohio and it is recreational. I use it for back pains, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And also to help my ADHD. I've been prescribed a med card multiple times, but I have refused due to the fact that I like to be able to go to the gun range on the weekend, and if I have a med card, they take away my gun rights. So, yes, please leave me alone about that if it's ever in any videos. And I'm just gonna come out flat about it. I mean, there's people on here who do nothing but smoking content. I will not be putting any smoking content on here other than just vaping. That is it. This is not going to be a channel with that all over it. This is going to be mostly dedicated to my love of cars and everybody watching's love of cars. Also, peep the throwback shirt. Yesterday was Throwback Thursday for me, and I woke up and immediately started deciding to film. So that's why we still in the PJs. Yeah, so once we actually start the day, I'll get changed and whatnot. But for now, let's switch this camera around and let's really give a good introduction to basically who I am and the cars that I have. I know that there was some content about a WRX on here at one point. I repoed that. I was tired of car payments and I just wanted to not have to deal with it no more. I just will also explain a little bit more of that now that we have this Mini Cooper, which is going to be the first car that we talk about. This is my Mini Cooper. It is a 2003, and yes, the Demon plate has a reasoning that it is on there, because this thing has been an absolute restoration from hell, and it has been absolutely just a pain compared to this car has ever been. I had a 2017 WRX that I got tired of working on. I got tired of trying to keep on the road, and just it constantly broke down, and it just it wasn't worth keeping. And just not that, there was special stuff done to the car of modifications before I had it, and I had, barely any knowledge about it, that I was like, dude, I want something fresh, I want something clean, something that I know nothing's been done to it, and I know what it's capable of and what it does, and if I'm gonna mess something up, if I accidentally put this wrong thing in it or that wrong thing in it. So that's part of the reason I also got rid of it. Plus, like I said, I was tired of payments. So that brings us to this, the car that I decided to buy because I wanted to, yeah, that looks a little better. I wanted to zoom out a little bit. I wanted to have, a daily, and my thing is I love hatchbacks, and yes, I wish I had a four-door hatchback because I have a son, and it'd be so much easier than putting him in this, or even if I take him on a joyride in that. But this is a 2003 Mini Cooper. It is a base model. It is not the supercharged. I did not want the supercharged model. I wanted the base model because I wanted something that was going to be good on gas. Even though this thing takes premium. Minimal. It's tuned for just premium, which is kind of cool. But if you guys don't know, BMW makes the Mini Coopers, and if you're wondering how far the domino effect goes back, Volkswagen is who makes BMW. I'm still waking up, so I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, because yeah. Okay, but so this is technically a Volkswagen. But these cars are really cool. I like this one. It's the Gen 1. They call it the Gen 1 because it's the Gen 1 of basically like the 2000s era. This is not an actual... If you guys know about this car, then you'll know there's, previous older generations from the 19s. But they call it a Gen 1 just to make sure that no one gets pissed off on, that's not a Gen 1, that's not a, what are you talking about? They started back in the 19... shut up. This is a Gen 1. This is what they call it. They call it Gen 1. Get over it. It's a 2000s first generation of the 2000s. Now that I've got that dispute out of the way, so people will leave me alone if I ever, get someone to comment on one of my videos. That's what this is. It's an R50. It is a 5-speed manual, and I'm going to show you what all I've done since I've gotten the car. But first, let's just give a little situation on where we're at right now. We are gutted, and I will explain to why we are gutted here soon. After we complete a little walk around, we're blocked, handbrake issue, which I will explain to here soon. All right. Now that we've done our walk around of the car, you can kind of see what we are working with and where we're at so far on our restoration. I'm going to show you what all I've done. These were painted black when I got the car, and I painted them black again to touch up the paint on both sides. This came already painted and black like that. I painted the badge. I was trying to do something cartoony because the character that I named this after is actually a cartoon character. That is a demon, which is part of why this is on here, and the fact that it's been an absolute restoration from hell. But the cartoon demon is actually voiced by the same person and has almost the same exact voice, if not the same exact voice, since it is the same exact, person as Invader Zim. So, hell yeah. Jimmy's messing with his old 70-something Nova. Hold on. I hope that picks it up well on the camera on how it sounds. Well, we get to enjoy that as some background music while we explain this. So not only did we do all that, but we blacked this out. It was still chrome. We blacked this out on both sides. Remember, I did all this paint in the middle of the winter, so take and please screw off on how bubbly and orange peeled it is. I was in a hurry to try and get this car looking as nice as possible before it started getting nice out, so I could be able to enjoy it as a nice little fun summer toy that I could also take to like car shows, and it would still get some respect for what I want to eventually do to the car, and the fact of how I'm trying to fix this car, even though it's only a beige model, from the hell that I'm going through. So we also painted these both black. We tried to paint them white at one point, and the white terribly orange peeled, and I have been trying to fight it since. Why my mirror's so bumpy and whatnot. I've been trying to sand them down. I've been trying to fix it. I thought about getting some paint stripper and then properly, painting them correctly when it's nicer out and making these look better. We painted these. The paint kind of didn't take all that well, but we did paint these. And then these weren't painted yet, so we did paint these on both sides. And then we painted the arms because they were pretty rusted out. I only have one cap, so I just took them both off. I just took the one cap that I had off, so they were both off, so that way it would look better than just the one. It looked more uniform. I came out randomly one day to my windshield being cracked, and it happened overnight. And I thinking, with the fact that it happened overnight and that night it had a storm really bad, that something during the storm came maybe from like the tree, or because at first I had it parked in the yard for a while, so that way I could not roll out of the driveway, but we found a spot flat enough in the driveway before it starts to go down that I am able to park here. And then my mom just said she'd park in front of the Camaro because we don't want the landlord getting pissed that I'm tearing up the yard, which is respectable. And it's not that I was tired of parking in the yard anyways, because when it rains and whatnot, then I gotta get out and it's all mushy. It's like, ew. Damn, bro, he's really trying to mess with something in there. Heck yeah, Jimmy. But it came with these custom lights already. I did paint that black. I painted this black and touched it up. I also did this badge. Like I said, it came with these. It came with the antenna missing. The only reason that there's a fart can on here is I found out that when I did the rear brakes, that it also needed rotors by putting it in the garage back when the garage was cleared out, and it rolled all the way down the driveway into that, slammed the exhaust against this tire. I cut it off, and where I cut it off, it was pointed at where I had to cut it off. It was pointed right at the tire. I didn't want the tire to melt. My old friend from across the cornfield came over, gave me the fart can and tip off of his car that he's no longer using because of new ways he's going about his exhaust, and we use that for a temporary fix. And it looks so ghetto, but it works, and that's all that matters, because this is kind of like a ballin' on a budget rebuild car that we're just trying to fix up good enough for now that even if it's a ghetto hoopty, it's at least something that I can daily until I can actually put the proper love into the car that it deserves. Also, I know that I've been standing here for a while showing off my license plate, and I really do not care. Just don't be weird. There's a lot of famous people that show off their license plate sometimes. But to why it's gutted. The car sat for about 2 years, give or take, a little under, a little over 2 years. We'll use 2 years as that general happy minimum. But it needs new door speakers, because the door speakers were completely nasty. I had to remove every single production sticker from this car, basically, on every single panel. because they were all molded out. I'm in the process of slowly putting the dash back together because I had to completely gut out all of the foaming that was behind this dash due to, for sound deadening and stuff like that. And I had to take it all out because it was all completely wet. So I'm in the process of slowly putting the dash back together. It needs all new carpeting. I have videos of puddles in the floor from where it was that bad. But we can't even use the cloth. The cloth was molding for that. The cloth was molded for that. Like I said, the speakers were even molded. It all started with the headliner needing refabricated, and then I found out that the headliner was molded, and then everything else just kind of domino affected into being safe than sorry. And I'm really happy that I did, because just about everything in this car was molded out. Like I said, you couldn't even use this cloth, the speakers, like any carpet, any foaming, any headliner, not a single production sticker. Like, I gotta take these back seats out because this one I've been cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, and I'm slowly getting rid of the mold stain that's in it. But it's good enough now that it's not detrimental, but I still need to really get these seats completely out of the car. And with it being a daily right now, I do want to find another back seat for it, but my plan is to save up, get a cheap beater 4-door that I have to be able to put my son in, and that way I can just completely do a rear seat delete and just put 2 front racing seats. And because this steering wheel had moss fucking growing on it, even the carpeting had moss growing on it. Yeah, so it wasn't just black mold, it was also moss. Like, the so I want to do that. I want to put some race car, doors on it, some cages, some netting, some cool, stuff into the interior. I want to put a K-swap in it. They make a whole kit for it, and it's really expensive, but that'd be something further down the road. Right now, we gotta get this fucking interior bag together, and right now it's the daily, so we can't afford to be tearing it apart too much. But yeah, we're kind of working on this. I mean, even these speakers, I cleaned them up enough that way I could have some form of speakers in the car, but even these rear speakers are nasty. And yes, that is oh damn, my bad for burping. That is a serpentine belt. It hasn't squealed for me, but they said it was squealing for them. I mean, I don't know why, but when I got the car, I got it off of my mom's boyfriend. His son had it. I think even his brother had it. But there's an extra hood that doesn't have the race stripes on it, that's a little bit more dented up, and it also came with an extra set of rims and even the center piecing here. And yeah, this is my hell on earth, so that's why I got the demon plate on it. All the paneling is here. I have every single bit of paneling that I need. There is some paneling that I will possibly, maybe paint black, to get some of this weird gray away. But even the airbag, like this airbag, if you look really close, is peppered out mold. The airbags that went and then they came down and they basically were like the top airbag. Even this airbag is, that's why this is still open. But I don't mind running it without no airbags, because I run this car without no airbags, and they are more for what I'm going to make more of a track build out of. There's my cousin. I had that HHR as a little fun daily for a while. Gave it to a set of friends to use as a family car also, and then they gave it to him, and he just needed a daily. But that's this car. So far, the only thing we also have left is it didn't come with a new battery like I was told. It needed a power steering pump. I broke this part, which I'll show in some video, but I broke that part, and can't think of what it's called right now, but some type of like exhaust plug thing. I don't know, it's deletable, so I took the two things that I had, because I tried to buy another one and it snapped in half from just being really weak plastic, and I wasn't even fully tightened all the way up in there. It was like halfway in and just snapped in half. I was like, bro, what the hell? So I just took both of them, since they snapped on the opposite sides, and made a delete plug, because it's deletable anyway. So yes, not me basically telling the cops, yo, these cars in a way should not be on the street, but leave me alone, I'm struggling. Can't you understand? Look at these things. But yeah, this also had a key issue. The part where the key clicks into the immobilizer spot, I don't have it out here with me, but where the key blade clicks into like the actual part with like the lock buttons and unlock buttons, it basically separated and it blew itself out, and you couldn't get the key blade to stick into the immobilizer system, and the car wouldn't start until I had a whole new key built. I had to buy a completely blank shell off of Amazon, switch over the motherboard, the immobilizer switch, and get the new key blade cut. So see, let me explain. And then the handbrake, it don't work. We did the new brakes, we did the new rotors. I mean, we've tried tightening everything, and right now we got it to the point where, I say we because I have friends that have been helping me with this car. Appreciate them, much love to them, and if they had a YouTube channel, I would totally shout it out, but most of them really don't, so I can't really do much on that. But right now we got it to where it's so tight that we can't even pull it up now. And because at first we had it was so loose that even at full tightness, like it wouldn't, tighten up. Well, I don't know what I accidentally somehow did, but that thing went from being loose at full lock to overly tight at full lock, down setting position. So like as you can see, I know I'm in the passenger side and it doesn't do much justice to prove my point, but it does, like, it's stuck. It does the same thing from the driver's side. Trust me. Like, I don't know why it's being like that. Now, this car, when I got it, I had to fix the latch supports for this. This is a hatchback, actually. I love my hatchbacks. I bondoed this because I had something, I can't remember what it was, smacked that. And as you can see, the paint job is starting to bubble up from where the Bondo didn't take right. But this was my first ever Bondo project, so please back off. For my first time, just that many bubbles with the fact that this section was actually really huge, I'm actually kind of okay with. And it shows me that, like, I did pretty, like, 50-50. So I still got some learning to do on Bondo. But I painted it primer black. I painted the rims black, which these are not the rims that I got the car with. I painted these black. My dumbass dremeled them out, and then rain got in there and it flooded out my half torn apart motor that was completely covered up, but somehow flooded out the motor. I once got cut off by a semi right down the road there, and crashed this because the semi cut me off. And then so I had to replace this. There's still a battle scar crack from where it dented in the fender, or cracked the fender, but this like dented into the fender and cracked it. But the wheels are from a 99 V6 3.8 parts car that I had, which is also where the brakes setup for the back came from. Is a 99 that had a 3.8 V6, and it was piston, and I wanted the piston, not the drums. So yeah, we did that. Then we've done the interior. We got this yellow one, which I want to find another white one because it's supposed to be white, but I'm just happy that it's how it is. That little spot there in the window came like that, but it's so microly small, and it's on the other side that it doesn't bother me while I'm driving, so I never fixed it. But I did fix this because I was tired of seeing where someone kind of like basically like cigarette burnt the thingy, and you couldn't see the difference between like the gears and whatnot, so it kind of pissed me off a little bit. I originally got this with only an aux radio. I upgraded it to a Kenwood Bluetooth, and then I upgraded the speakers, I'm pretty sure, with Kenwood also. And I still need to do the rear speakers. I've just never gotten around to it because they never have been rattly or blown out since I've gotten the car. So why replace it if it's not messed up? This came with the car. This came with the car. And that came with the car. I have that panel. It's in the trunk. I was in the progress of putting my spare tire and jack back in, and cleaning up the entire like car and whatnot. And I cleaned in behind where that spare tire paneling went to be extra, and just never put the panel back on. But yeah, these are what I'm talking about that I had to fix, these bars. I do need to fix the front bars on it. I put this aftermarket steering wheel in. I'm trying to get some form of way to be able to put a horn to cover this. Just the nut kind of cancels out the horn, so I don't plan on wanting the horn back in here all that much, but I might, so I might find a way. I still have the parts for this hole right here to do the horn, so I might. This is more going to be like a car show slash like drag build, so I really don't see this thing being on the road all that much as like a daily. I put the floor mats in it. I put these door panels in it because the ones that I had, someone took these and drilled them in on each side, and they made this stick down in there, so I just got all new door panels, and I couldn't find the same exact interior, but I just found ones that were close enough to like the same like gray and whatnot, but they're not the same actual pattern as the seat like they're supposed to. But I did fix all this up and replace that because it bugged me. I did replace these because they were like broke and they barely stayed on, and I had to tighten the bolt all the time. I'm trying to figure out why this one is not properly working, because this bolt likes to come out all the time too. I did take the little stuff that was in here out because it started to fall out, so I was just like, whatever. And I just never saw the reason to put fabric back in there or rubber or anything like that. I even found it an ashtray because it didn't have an ashtray, and you can see all of like the stuff under there, and I wanted to be able to put like coins and like center console change in there, or you know, down in there, and I just wanted to make sure that, you know, that was something that was fixed just for the heck of it. This has never been fixed, but yeah. Yep, that's all of the interior wise. Most of the exterior. Oh, we did put a dual exhaust on it. Single inlet to dual outlet. Underneath here is a 92 Corvette motor that we carbureted. I need to get new of the rods that I showed you in the back for this, because it is finally going out. But the tow strap is fake. It was for part of a joke that I did when I was putting the Corvette motor and all this stuff in there. But it doesn't have the fog lights, because when it got in a crash, it busted the fog light, and I didn't want to have only one fog light, and I couldn't find a good fog light, so I just deleted them and tucked the wires for those. And then these have weird arms, as you can see. That's why that one's taped on, and this one's tape must have fell off during a storm or something, because it was unraveling and unraveling, so I just never saw a reason to retape it, so, because I haven't driven it in a while. So the tape eventually just kind of worked its way off through weathering. But it's a fun little car. I love it. And here's why this is the first car I bought after I finally decided to stop repoing car or making payments on cars and repoed the WRAs. But I've had this. I have noticed that most of the general production dates for this car have all been in the 6 month, and on all of like the very important panels, and the motorcycle sounded weird. On like the very important panels, they've all had a production date of the 6 months. So I'm gonna guess that this car was probably built in the 6th month. So that's, which is important because my son was also born in the 6th month. I bought this car at the age of 16, and one last 6 years later, after buying this car, my son was born. So this lucky number for this car, even though it's a 95, if I ever had to put a number on this car for like drag strip reasons, I would ask for number 6, because it's kind of a sentimental number to this car. But the Corvette motor in it is actually the 3rd motor. The first one, legitimately, if I can ever find pictures, I will upload them, but had like road tar. Like if you've taken like the gravel and the tar and you've like seen it on the road and you've messed with it and whatnot, yeah, that's what the oil was basically like that was in that motor. Like, they absolutely trashed that thing, and I drove it for months like that, not even knowing, before it finally started blowing white smoke out. I was like, oh my god. And we were going to put that 3.8 in there that I talked about from the parts car, but the guy didn't want to whack any of my harnesses, even though I gave him permission to. And so we got rid of the 3.8 idea, found another 3.4 and put it in here. But I wanted the 3.8 because I wanted to find a supercharger from a 3.8 off of like one of the cars that came stock with them, like one of the sedans or something like that, and put that in here because I thought that'd be a cool little build for this. And then, you know, whenever I got a V8, then could put a V8 in this. But I put a 92 Corvette motor in it for the V8, and like I said, the motor ended up getting flooded out because my dumbass drilled those out, and even though I had the motor covered up and whatnot, it still found a way to leak into the motor and flood the motor. But that is this car, and a little bit of a background on the background car. But like I said, everything here, all of the parts are all over the garage, along with my mom's stuff from our little camper spot that we have out. And tools and everything are a mess because I can't get to anything to properly put them away that I really need to. But all the Camaro's parts are all back here, like the carburetor that we decided to do. It's like a cool little wacky thing. And then we've got like the exhaust stuff and all that back here. We've got parts for that. You bit me. I got parts for it all tucked underneath, like right there, for the Camaro. This is a cluster of a mess right now, but kind of where everything's at, and kind of an introduction of both cars and kind of myself on, you know, like my plans. Like I said, I would love to, I'm pretty sure I said to K-swap the Mini, and I would love to actually get rid of the Corvette motor that's in there and put in a 83, like a 383 into it. That's my dream motor to put into that car, because they only came with 350s, and I think it'd be cool to put a 383 in it. So let's see what else. Take a smoke break from all the talking. Trying to think of what all I've done, what all's missing. Oh, talking of radio antennas, this one, I chopped off the antenna because it was tall as crap. Like, it went over top of the roof tall. Like, I was like, nah, that's stupid. And all I use in this car is Bluetooth, so I took off the antenna. I want to get an actual antenna that will cooperate and work, so that way I can, like a shorty, something, so that way I can actually be able to use the normal radio in this car if I don't feel like using Bluetooth, because I'm not driving that far and it would almost be, pointless to use, like if I wanted to, take this because it was a nice day out, kind of like this, up to, my friends across the cornfield, or my homie that lives like a minute that way, or like a family get together at the, the lake place, or, things like that, like wherever it may be. And or it's my brothers, or my dad's, or wherever, but like I want to be able to, like, if it's taking it to like the falls, or the, I don't, like a car show in the town over, or whatever that's in that direction, or that direction, or that direction that we find cool, um and be able to kind of just not need the radio Bluetooth, because we're not going that far. I can, just a couple minutes up the street or something, and I just use the normal radio. This one, the Mini Cooper, I want to be able to do the same. I would like an antenna, so, if Bluetooth would almost be pointless of where I'm going, then I can just listen to the normal radio for a minute or two, or 5. So, I'm trying to think of what else. I did talk about how I wanted to, like, put a cage and do some, tubular stuff with, like, the K series and the interior, and how I actually want to build this car with custom hoods and bumpers and stuff. I want to do the same to this. I want to put custom cool spoilers, bumpers, wheels, on both of these cars. I would like to be able to keep the seat in the back of this one, so we might not cage this one, but I do at least want to put some reclining race seats in it. And then I want to take these back seats, and I want to find some that ain't got a bunch of holes in them, and I want to completely rip off the fabric and try and refabric them to match whatever race seats that I put in there, so it looks a little better at least. Same with this car. This car I'm just going to turn into a 2-seater and eventually get rid of the back seat. But this one I would like to be able to keep the back seat in, because, it would kind of ruin the value to rip it out with the fact that it's a classic. And just not that. Yeah, I want to be able to, put friends in this and take it out on a joyride. If I want to pile it 4 deep and go to a car show or something. And if I'm just going with, me and like whoever I'm dating at the time, I can, take them in just this, if it's like a date night or something, or I can take them in this and we just don't have to use the back seat. But I do want like an actual normal 4-door that would be an actual family car to put like my son and whatnot in, which the WRX was really cool for, but I want what my friend has. I really like them, and I think they're cool, and they mostly only come in manual, and I want a manual daily. That's why I got this in a manual, and was happy that it was manual, because I don't know, it's kind of just my thing. But I do want a Mazda Speed 3. My friend has one. as the four-door hatchback. It's really cool, and watching him build one has kind of, made me rethink wanting a Subaru WRX again, which I had the 17, which is a sedan. I wanted the generation before it because they still had hatchback models. I love hatchbacks. Like, I love hatchbacks a lot. I don't know why. I just have, and really do. Also, don't mind my busted slip. It's been cold around here a little bit recently. But it's been a lot working on these. I love them though. They're fun. They're cool, and I like wacky, neat little cars and making weird, cool creations. So, and that's why I like hatchbacks, because they always have their like spare wheel in like the randomest spots. Like the Camaro is in like the side paneling. This one's tools are in the trunk under the panel, but the actual tires underneath the car, like a truck almost. They're kind of cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna sign out, and this is kind of my little introduction on properly kind of introducing myself and my vehicles and what I'm going through with them and what I kind of want to do to them.